Welcome back. This is the BX Express, and we are still on the air. Things have been crazy lately, but through a major breakthrough purchase of AM New York, I am proud to announce that I am one of their newest reporters under Schnepp's Media. But that doesn't mean anything is going to change with the BX Express, because we're still bringing the best of what's going on in this borough through our partnership between the Bronx Times Reporter and BronxNet. So, today we've got a lot of news to talk about, and a legendary hip-hop producer from the Boogie Down is coming into the studio. So, let's get right into it. Keller Williams hosted its Bronx Gives Back Gala to combat domestic violence through the borough. Here is more on that.
A group of realtors from Keller Williams were at the Villa Barone for a fundraiser they hope will help victims of domestic violence.
It means a lot to me to help out women. I also worked in another organization that would shelter women and their children from being violently violated by their abuser.
We exceeded our goal. Our goal was $10,000, and we're close to $14,000.
Each year they plan to choose a different organization, but for this year, Christian Velez says they wanted to support serving the underserved for their work in this community.
Nobody wants to be a victim of domestic violence, so this is an amazing cause, and we are so thankful to be in the position to give back to them.
According to city figures, the homeless rate is at 60,000 with an estimated 22,000 children. The attention of a real estate company on an issue like this is key for the Bronx as communities become gentrified. Keller Williams says it's for this reason that they want to partner with local residents for a better Bronx.
The branding here tonight is that the real estate industry is giving back to their community.
New York City Council member Fernando Cabrera, who last month took part in a groundbreaking ceremony with Keller Williams for a new 175-unit affordable and supportive housing complex, hailed the realtors for demonstrating their commitment to the lives of the people here in the Bronx.
And they're giving to the right organization, so it's a great marriage.
It's all about giving back to our communities and to make it just better. That's the whole point behind it. We do business here, we live here, and we just want to support it and make a difference.
This cause really hit my heart. When Keller Williams says, we're going to do this, and so we all pushed each other, and we did an amazing job, and I love it.
Opened in 1978, SUS has long worked to provide housing for the underserved. Today, that now includes victims of domestic violence. For BronxNet, this is Arlene Makoko.
And one poet in the Bronx is using his words to make a difference in the city. BronxNet has more.
Leadership and Philanthropy Institute for Girls Grab the Torch partners with college preparatory school Horace Mann for an evening with poet Richard Blanco. Selected by former President Barack Obama as the 5th inaugural poet in U.S. history, Blanco is not only the youngest, but the first gay Latino immigrant to serve in such a role. Founder of Grab the Torch, Dave Aldridge, explains the importance of having Blanco share his success story with high school students.
Richard has been involved with Grab the Torch since 2014, and we've seen the impact that he has on students. And we wanted to have that same impact here in the Bronx. He's a trained architect and a certified urban planner, and then he became a poet. And there isn't a more meaningful, kind-hearted immigration success story than Mr. Blanco.
Ever since serving as presidential inaugural poet for Obama, which was such a public moment, right? Like, I've really connected with this idea of how can poetry occupy more of our lives. So every time I get an opportunity to sort of reach out, not just to students, but even parents and grandparents and everybody, right? Like, how can we come around poetry as a way of thinking about things, celebrating ourselves, but also talking about issues.
This event is GTT and Horace Mann's kickoff for their Bronx initiative, Art of Conversation, taking place in spring 2020. They believe each youth will contribute to the greater good and enhance their life when given an effective foundation. Student at Horace Mann, Liliana, talks about this evening experience with poet Blanco.
I have been following his work and his poetry for a long time now. I lead a club called Poetry Out Loud here at Horace Mann, so just like hearing him speak was really inspirational for my work. A bunch of people asked him questions about where he finds inspiration or how he knows a poem is finished, and I think that I took a lot from that.
To stay up to date with Grab the Torch events, visit their website at grabthetorch.org. Reporting for BronxNet, Ashley Tiffany.
All of these clips were produced by our friends at BronxNet, and you can catch them again online at bronxnet.org. We're going to take a short break now, but stand clear of the closing doors, because when we come back, Amadeus from the Bronx is coming on.
While most contraceptives are highly effective at preventing unwanted pregnancies, there is one foolproof method. Pairing socks with sandals has been scientifically proven to prevent pregnancy by deterring any contact with the opposite sex.
Dad, we're grown adults now. Isn't it a little late to be having the talk or whatever this is?
I know what you're thinking. What is international action star Ed Begley Jr. doing talking to his blossoming children about sex? Well, as a matter of fact, I'm saving the world.
You said that we had to come home for an emergency.
Do you know that one of the biggest threats to wildlife and their habitats is rapid human population growth?
Please tell me you're done now.
Do your part by showing young lovers all the tools they need to avoid intimate moments altogether.
You don't have to sit through Ed Begley Jr.'s sex talk to save wildlife. Just use contraception, support reproductive rights, and speak up for sex ed in schools.
That's way better.
Find out other world-saving tips at betterthaned.org.
Welcome back. This is the BX Express. Stand clear of the closing doors. So, we are now joined by one of not just the Bronx's musical prodigies, but he is one of the greatest producers. He's recently gone gold. He goes platinum all the time. We are with the one and only Amadeus.
Man, what an introduction.
Thank you.
First of all, this is awesome. Very comfy, very cozy. It's in the Bronx, so I feel great. I feel at home, man, and I'm with my brother.
So, tell us a little bit about your involvement with the BX Express. Since you say you feel at home, this feels like home to you.
I think if I'm not mistaken, I think I produced the theme song.
All the music
for the show and all of the music that plays with the show. Am I mistaken or am I correct?
Pretty sure we used that.
Okay.
It was like
that's pretty cool because that Amadeus guy is pretty good, man.
Yeah, no,
you know, I think
I loved it.
Good.
I mean, we had like, oh man, so many producers were like, hey, check out my mixtape, drop my mixtape on show. We're like, no, you.
Man, thank you for that opportunity, man. My brother, congrats on the show. This, like I said, this is awesome. Proud of you. Well done. Well, happy to be here for you, man.
Thank you, my man. And you have just hit some pretty big milestones yourself, haven't you?
Yes.
Tell me about
it. So I produced a record along with my co-producers, The Breed. It's a record for Dave East featuring Chris Brown called Perfect, and it just went gold. Now what makes this special to me is it's the first single to ever reach that status. You know, I've been on albums that went gold, that went platinum, but it's the actual single that we produced that went gold. So, and I'm 18 years in, man, so it just goes to show you, like, it can take time for you to achieve, you know, milestones like this. So it's very special to me. I just submitted the request for my plaque.
Yeah.
And had to make a special place on the wall to hang that one. So that, the Chris Brown Indigo album is doing very well.
Yeah, I wanted to talk to you about that. You talked about how long it took for the Dave East one to go.
Right.
But this, what you're about to tell me, correct me if I'm wrong, it took a lot sooner than that.
Oh yeah, Chris Brown is on fire, man. And it's funny because I have this jacket on, so first respect to the one and only Michael Jackson. But he's, I feel, and a lot of people feel the same way, whereas the modern day Michael Jackson. And not to compare them, not to say he's actually him, but he's just, is so much talent, so much raw talent, from the singing, the performing, the dancing, the charisma that he has as an artist and as a vocalist and a performer. It's just amazing. So it's just so happy that I wore this jacket today to be on the show with you, man. But it went gold pretty quickly. I think it's already almost platinum. The Chris Brown Indigo album. We produced a record on there called Take a Risk with my young brother Mike DeMuro. And just to backtrack a little bit, the Chris Brown Heartbreak on a Full Moon album.
Yeah.
Came out, I think, 2 years ago, if I'm not mistaken, and that's actually double platinum right now. We produced 9 songs on that album, so it's been a great journey. Oh yeah, The Young and May, The Young and May, The Young and May. The Young and May album is out right now, Her Story in the Making. We produced 8 songs on that album, and I think, you know, the question that you may ask, or people may wonder, is why so many songs, or how many songs? You know, how did you produce so many songs with these particular artists? And the answer to that question is there's a relationship. There's an ongoing relationship. Chris Brown and myself have been working together for about 7 to 8 years now. So there's a relationship, there's a bond that we have musically. Young and May, we were working on our album for about 2 years now. So it requires a lot of patience. A lot of songs are cut and recorded, and they might not be released right away. They might not be on a project that he's working on at the moment or that she's working on at the moment. They might save it, hold on to it for a little bit, come back 3 years later and say, hey, I want to use this song for this project. So it's a process and it requires a lot of patience.
So now, as far as a lot of patience goes, you've been doing this for 18 years.
Yes.
Tell me, how did you get started, and where were you living in the Bronx at the time?
Born and raised, 169th Washington Avenue, 1309, building of 1309. My parents like to move a lot, I don't know why, but we moved up and down Washington Avenue. So we started in 1309, went up to 1451, and then moved to 1420. Now my grandparents lived in 1460, which was a building right beside 1420. So we were very well known in the neighborhood. You know, I grew up there, my parents grew up there, so that was pretty cool. But for me, music started in 4th grade. Went to school at St. Augustine School of the Arts, and it was then that I learned drums. 4th grade, fell in love with it. Couldn't put the drumsticks down. Just music in general. Hip hop just happened to be my favorite genre, followed by R&B, followed by hip hop. You know, gospel and other genres, but hip hop is what I fell in love with. It was difficult for me, and you know this because we have spoken many times, because my parents are very spiritual and churchgoers, so they were frowning upon the hip hop music that I listened because of the profanity, some of the messages, some of the things that they weren't fans of. So I had to hide and sneak and listen to hip hop music in the bed. I was supposed to be going to bed at 8 o'clock. I would have the Walkman. See how far this goes back. The Walkman under the pillow. Take the Walkman out, make sure it was clear, put the headphones on, and kind of jammed out for an hour each and every single night. I did that.
You had an 8 p.m. bedtime?
Yeah, we didn't play. Sometimes 8:30, depends on what show was on. Now, we were fans of Family Matters. We were fans of The Cosby Show. You know, so it depends on what night it was, you know, to determine, you know, whether we call it got to stay up or not. Sundays is special because it was America's Funniest Videos. That was a must. You know,
so that was a freebie. You got
yeah, we definitely got to watch it. I think that came on at 8, so we got to go to bed at 8:30 on Sundays.
So when you heard all of these TV themes, I assume, I don't want to date you too much, 80s? am I right, or was this 90s?
Yeah, 90s, because I was born in 81. So I would say 80s into 90s actually. So you're right.
Now, when you heard all of these TV themes, did that inspire you, not for mine, but for another theme song that you were responsible for, and you want to talk a little bit about that?
No, you know what? Growing up, I've always had a love for music and an understanding of it, especially that I was in school for it. So there were theme songs that I liked, that I liked the bass line or like the horn line. And I know this is a little later, but like Martin, I really loved the theme song for Martin. Real jazz, you know, always had some saxophone, dope guitar lines in it that I just loved, and it's just appreciated as a youngin'. So when I had the opportunity to create the ESPN First Take theme song, it was kind of, I already had the track created. So the track was already created. It was kind of a track that was created off of how I felt at the moment, which is how I create, you know, all of the music that I've created that's been released. And it was just the right place at the right time, and being with the music director, speaking at a college to his students. And we went to Subways and sat down and had lunch and just started talking like, hey, I got working on this theme song. I'm looking for Talib Kweli. And it's gonna be Talib Kweli and Mos Def. And I'm like, all right, that's pretty cool. And he was like, yeah, but we're having a hard time connecting or reaching Kweli. And I'm like, I know him, like very well. We have records together, you know? My son's mom toured with him for like 10 years. So he's like, well, get him on the phone. Let's see if we connect. And I'm like, okay, cool, but who's doing the beat? He's like, yeah, we haven't, you know, decided upon that yet. And I was like, kind of gave him that look, and he was like, "You want to do it?" I said, "Why not?" So that's how it came together. Submitted some tracks that were already done. It was about 4 or 5 tracks. They picked the ones that they loved, got it to Kweli, Mos Def. Kind of went back and forth because if you look at it, there's not Talib Kweli and Mos Def on the track. It's actually Wale and Stolly from MMG. So there was kind of a creative differences amongst Mos Def and ESPN. So it didn't work out with them, and I was pissed because that would have been a great moment for hip hop. But it was Wale and Stolly, and definitely a fan of both of them. Stolly being a little bit new, which was why I think Wale created the opportunity for him and brought him along for the ride. And that was in 2016. The theme song was created. We revised it, I want to say 2018. Wale came, brought his live band in, created like a go-go sound around the same track. And then now 2019 with the show moving to New York. Same vibe, they sampled the melody that I created and just kind of had 2 DJs kind of go back and forth on turntables, scratching back and forth. So that's how that came together.
So even now, it's your sample.
Yeah.
People are listening to every day on ESPN.
Absolutely, absolutely. Along with, as you mentioned, the scores that are in SportsCenter and the highlights that are shown. Like, so not just the theme song on First Take. If you watch the show, you'll hear about 4 or 5 of my tracks come in and out as they show highlights or they discuss different topics on the show. So it's pretty cool, man. It just, I watch it every day. It's like a must for me. I get up.
So you gotta.
It's kind of like how I get my day along, and me being a sports fan and just knowing my music is there is inspirational and motivational to me.
So did Stephen A. or did any of the talent talk to you about when the track came out?
Yeah, I got to meet all of them because at first it was Stephen A., it was Carrie Champion, and it was Skip Bayless.
It was Skip, yeah.
And what was dope about when we first created it was we did it in the studio all together. So they came down, hung out in the studio. Wale Stolly was there, actually wrote the verses there, and we recorded it and everything right there. So they was actually a part of the process of seeing how songs are created, and it's pretty cool, man. So it was definitely a dope moment. Stephen A. talked about how much he loved the track and how much he loved it, and then Skip and Stephen A. went back and forth about who was going to lose, who was going to win the debates. So it was a cool moment, man. It was definitely a cool moment for me. And then when we revamped it, 2017. There's a clip of Stephen A. As it's coming on and premiering on the show. He's like, man, shout out to Amadeus, shout out to Wale, the whole crew. I love the new theme song, man, the revamp of the theme song, great job. So, and now, of course, the newer theme song for 2019 with a newer cast, Max Kellerman and Molly Kiram, along with Stephen A. Just and I got to meet each and every single one of them, visit the studio, take pictures. They got to meet my family. Great group of people, man.
So when you were doing that, you're talking about how it helped you find like your creative process in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about how that's developed over the years and how much of the Bronx can be heard in your music.
I would first say the Bronx, you can hear it in everything I've ever created. Bronx being the home of hip hop. Hip hop, when you think of hip hop, you think of boom bap, you think of hard drums, you think of heavy bass. And that's kind of, no matter the genre that I've crossed over into or what I've created for whatever particular artist that I've been blessed to work with, you still feel it. You still feel that New York. You still feel that boogie down Bronx in the music. And that's something I'll never change. That's me. It's where my heart is. It's where I'm born and raised. It's where I grew up at. And it's all I know when you really think about it. I've been blessed to travel almost the entire world, but it's no place like home, man. So it's definitely been very influential in my creative process, in the music. And I'm just being me at the end of the day. A young kid from the Bronx that loved music, that made it out safe and sound and alive, gratefully. Because I can tell you some stories, man, about where I've come up and what I've seen and what I've experienced in life. So I'm just grateful to be here. And like I said, it'll always be a part of me, no matter where I go.
Now, speaking of where you're going tomorrow?
Man, Las Vegas.
So what are you doing in Vegas?
I have a residency at the #1 hip hop club, Dre's Nightclub. I'm one of the resident drummers there. I play alongside an amazing DJ by the name of DJ Franzen, based out from the Bay Area, residing in Vegas now. And but I have residency along a lot of greats, man. 50 Cent, Chris Brown, Trey Songz, Lil Wayne, Big Sean, Fabulous. Jadakiss is performing tomorrow for the first time, so I'm excited about that. So to be, amongst those great talents and those great names as a resident as well, it's a great feeling. So I'm there pretty much every weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, playing. Like I said, I play drums alongside the DJ, and it's a great time, man. So if you're ever out there, you ever come to Las Vegas, man, come to Dre's nightclub, see me get down on the kit, man. It's nothing like, it's one thing to enjoy music that's created in the studio, and you hear it on your iPhones or anything like that, but it's a whole nother thing to see it live. And it's a vibe. There's no rehearsals. I just play with whatever DJ Franzen throws on. So all of your latest music, he does some throwbacks sometimes. So it's just a good time, man.
So when you're drumming, when you're doing your live percussion, compare that to when you're making beats. What is similar and what is just like a totally different ball game?
Drums being a very important piece to production has a lot of similarities, but live and studio work are definitely two different things. From tones to different type of sounds that you're able to use and create in the studio versus live. A live sound is what it is. It's your toms, your floor tom, your kick drum, your cymbals, your hi-hat, your snare is going to sound as is, however you have it tuned at that moment. But when you're in the studio, it's endless in regards to what you can do sound-wise. You can change the tones of everything from the drums to the bass. You can raise pitches. You can change keys. So there's so many different things you can do in the studio versus live. So live to me is just raw and uncut. It is what it is, So either you got it or you're not. You can't auto-tune. You can't fix it. You can't have an engineer put some sugar and spice on it to make it better. It is what it is.
The talent really shows. And I got 2 more questions before we have to let you go.
Oh man, I was having a good time.
I let you stay here
comfy
all night.
on this couch, man.
Yeah, I mean, you're flying out. I bet it's gonna be a little better than the plane seat. But where did you come up with the name Amadeus?
Great question. So, growing up, we were forced to watch in the school the Wolfgang Mozart movie, and I didn't want to watch it. But the cool part was, as a young guy, you know how we are with the young ladies. You turn the lights out. You get to sit next to a girl. I realized that the young lady was very into the movie and wasn't paying any attention to me. So I said, well, let me pretend or let me try to somewhat be involved and entertained by the movie so that she can see that I'm sort of interested and maybe she'll be interested in me. Didn't work out that way, but I watched the movie. And just learned a lot about, Mozart, and he just very, very talented at a young age. Loved girls, chased girls all around the entire movie, but was a master and was a genius at what he did musically, and just was a real funny guy, a class clown. So I saw all of the similarities, and it just kind of made sense. I tried Wolfgang, and I was like, nah, I don't want anybody calling me a wolf. Mozart, and I was like, Amadeus. At first, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't love it, but I decided to go with it. Because of it just resonated with me. My real name starts with an A, and the more I heard people say it or call me it, the more I fell in love with it. And then later on, I learned that it means loves God, and that's definitely who I am as a young man and as a person with my spirituality and my upbringing and who I am and where I believe I get my gifts. I have received my God-given gifts from. So. It just all worked and made sense to me, and here I am, Amadeus.
So the 8 p.m. curfew, in a way, worked itself out.
Yeah,
yes. And you're talking about everything that made you who you are.
Right.
Being that Thanksgiving is coming up, do you want to give a shout out who you're grateful for?
Man, I love that. I love this moment because I'm very excited about it. And I just said to my family last night, it's been a long year, great year, a long, successful year. No complaints at all. I'm a bit exhausted, and it's been a lot, but a lot of great things. So I'm not complaining, but I'm tired, and I'm looking forward to the Thanksgiving holiday, and looking forward to Christmas, and just being home. I move around a lot, I travel a lot, I'm all around the world, and you miss home, and you miss your family, and you miss your loved ones. So this is my camera right here. So thank you to my loved ones, to my queen, my son, my daughter, all my family that support me. The people that I work with, the people that have blessed me with opportunities to create amazing music with, Dre's for having me, just everyone that supports me. You've done some monumental things for me. You've allowed dreams that I've dreamt to come true. Bronx Times and the AM News, and you've done a lot of great things for me, man. So I'm appreciative and grateful to you and for your platform and you believing in me to even share my story with the world. and to have me on this amazing platform that you've been blessed with, and to also allow me to create music for you, man. This is monumental. So I can go on and on about how grateful I am and who I'm grateful for, but most importantly, grateful to God, man, because, you know, without him, I'm nothing. It's talent, the coolness, the swag, all of that from the man upstairs, man. So thank you to God for my blessings, and just happy to be here, man, and representing the BX all day.
Man, on behalf of the Bronx, on behalf of the BX Express and all of our entities, thank you.
Man, thank you, my brother. Wish you well with the show. Keep going.
Thank you, man.
You know, it's only the beginning, man. Let's go past the sky.
Absolutely. Sky is the limit then. You've got the solar system, we've got the universe. Okay, we're going to take a short break now. We're coming right back. Stand clear of the closing doors.
When I was a kid, I wanted to be just like Cal Ripken. It's definitely humbling to know that now people are calling me a hero. Instead of finding the IED with my metal detector, the IED found me first, and that resulted in double above-knee amputations. It's hard to describe the feeling of meeting somebody that you've always wanted to be like. There are people now that are looking up to you for their inspiration and to be their role model.
Visit saluteheroes.org to learn more.
Oh, hi. I'm Alex Mitchell, host of the BX Express on BronxNet. Given what time of the year it is, everyone from my TV show to your home is thankful for you, for the Bronx, for so many beautiful and great things in life. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about all the things that we hate and what we aren't thankful for. Starting with people that say, hey, can you put my phone in the charger? Phones don't go in chargers, chargers go in phones. It's not that difficult. When you run into someone that you knew years ago and they say, yeah, I'll text you, let's get drinks, and you just want to say, no, you're lying straight to my face, I'm never going to see you again. People that say pizza is better in New Jersey than it is New York. Sad, strange individuals. People that say, you know, in theory, traffic really shouldn't exist if all the cars are moving. People who passive-aggressively use the phrase, per my last email, when they're trying to get your attention. The New York Knicks front office. No, that's it. I'm leaving it at that. People that constantly request songs in bars. No, the DJ is not going to play Call on Me by Eric Prydz just because you asked him 5 times. That's a shot at myself, by the way. When you're at any sort of sporting event and your home team is being blown out, but there's that one overly energetic fan that tries getting the crowd into the game. Come on! They need us! It starts here! No, it doesn't. It is 27-0 and it's the first half. Just sit down and get another beer. Okay, everyone, tell me the thing you hate about me most. I'll put it on. People that love kale. When people use cameras for evil instead of good. I'm looking at you, Houston. People that don't think chili is a soup. It comes with crackers, it's served hot in a bowl as an appetizer. If that's not a soup, then please tell me what is. Well, that was the Thanksgiving special of the BX Express. And whether or not you're thankful for us, we are thankful for you. We're going to see you soon. I'm Alex Mitchell. Stand clear of the closing doors. Happy holidays, everyone.